Grace, peace, and blessings. Blessings, everyone. Welcome, welcome to Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom Discourse. I am your host, Brother Devon, along with my awesome co host, Sister Charmaine, and we want to invite you to a great discussion this evening. Good evening, Sister Charmaine. How
Good,
are you doing?
good evening, Brother Devon. I am fine, I must say. And how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing better. You know
Okay,
how things are.
fine. Nice to hear. Nice to hear.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yes,
yes. So,
yes.
so, so we have a couple persons. We have a few persons I should say on board already. Bless God. We have Sister Laza. Much love to Sister
Yes,
Laza and
good
her
night,
family.
Sister Laz.
Shout out to um, Sister Laza's husband, Don. Don, remember Don.
I remembered.
Yes, I remember. I know it's D, but I have so many names with D, so I'm trying to remember the correct name. And then Samantha, shout out to Samantha as well. Blessings to everyone. Hope you all are doing great. Sister Charmaine, we have an interesting conversation this evening.
Yes, we have. Yes, I am really excited. Listen, he put in man a quiz, you also listen. If I get all wrong, well, you don't laugh at me because this thing is really impromptu. It's really impromptu, eh? I'm getting test this evening.
Bless
Oh
God, bless God.
boy, yes,
And
yes,
the beauty about it is, as the Bible says, be ready always to give an answer,
mm,
folks. So for everyone who's watching,
yes.
you never know when you're going to be tested. Eh? You never know.
That's right, that's right.
We have to be ready.
So yes, so I am excited to hear what it is all about because as you all know, we just finished it's 9 installation of the Watch That Emotions, and we dealt with the negative, positive emotions, and we just want to say that emotions are important, but it's just that we need to look at the negative emotions and deal with it, and we offered several scripture verses and how God dealt with it. So, that to give us hope then that we are able to, well, either alleviate or deal with whatever negative emotion. But I want to say emotions are still important because God used the emotional love to reach us, to die for us, to provide for us. And last week we did that emotional love, and yeah, brother Devon just running with the baton now, continuing on the topic of love, and he will explain in detail, how we go from here. Yes.
Excellent. Beautiful. Well said, Sister Shami. So this evening, guys, we do want to invite you all to partake in this topic. I have entitled this A Couple Greek Words for Love. Now, I know a lot of persons have heard sermons where preachers go into there are four different words for love: storge, eros, phileo, agape. So we've had different sermons preached to us. We're going to focus on two particular words, phileo and agape this evening. And I want to invite you all to get a pen and a piece of paper or a pad because we want to have you all test your own selves. All right. So there are about 13 questions in all, and you have the opportunity to write one, and then you put an A for your choice or a P for the question being answered. Either A representing agape or P representing phileo. So I'm going to explain everything again so that, in case it's confusing. We are going to read different passages within the Bible, about 13 passages, different verses. And as we read those verses, you and I have been taught that agape is the type of selfless love. It's the love of God. It's the godly love. It's the love that God gives. God only gives that type of love. He gives the agape type of love. While you and I, as human beings, the type of love we would give for our brothers and sisters, what have you, that type of love is the phileo type of love. And just to help, just to make sure and set the foundation, I want to make sure and set the foundation really good so that everybody will be on the same page. So let me see if I could pull up my share screen and just provide some document, some online stuff so that you all would see it for yourself. So, Sister Charmaine, are you seeing the screen, the share screen there?
Yes, I am.
Right, good. So I'm reading for everyone. It has agape is a godly love to love sacrificially, perfectly, to prefer above all else, an unconditional love. That's the agape we have here, which I said a little while ago. Why they say phileo is a brotherly love to be fond of, to enjoy spending time together and sharing activities. With that in mind, all right, so they give you a bit of a passage there. And it's repeated over here, the different type of love. So we have good grounds here. We are set for the two main different types of love that is said. And this word agape is the Greek word that would be translated love, and the Greek word phileo that would be translated love. Right? So when we go through these questions, you just work with that definition, not changing anything, but we're going to learn something this evening. We're going to definitely learn something, right? So when you read or you hear these passages read, you place either A for agape or P for phileo based on the definition you have heard and we have all accepted. Okay. So Sister Charmaine, we good to go. You ready to begin this?
Well, of course, yes, sir.
Oh gosh. All right. So let's I'm multitasking behind the scenes because I'm trying to get something done here. Just to make sure everything is running smoothly behind the scenes here, right? Okay. You all forgive me. So many things I try to do. Okay. And feel free, folks, to present your questions. So let's begin. Let me see if I can pull up the document here, share screen, and we'll begin with question 1. If you can't see it, because I know sometimes a bar appears at the top, I'll be reading right. I'll be reading for those who can't see. So the first one we go with is Luke chapter 11, verse 42. The text says, "But woe unto you, Pharisees." This is Jesus speaking. He says, "Woe unto you, Pharisees, for ye tithe the mint and rue and all manner of herbs, and pass over judgment and the love of God. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone." What type of love is Jesus referring to here? Is it the agape type of love? Or is it the phileo type of love being referenced here? All right, so it's your turn to put A for agape or P for phileo. I have the text up there, so you can always watch it and make the necessary adjustments. Sister Charmaine, when you are ready to move, you go forward.
Yes, yeah, you move on, brother.
Okay, good. So we go to the second passage here. It says, John chapter 5, verse 42. And it reads, "But I know you, that ye have not the love of God in you." He was speaking to the Jewish people. This is Jesus speaking to the Jewish people. He said to them, all right, they were critiquing Jesus, criticizing Jesus, and all those things. You know that. They didn't have much good things to say about Jesus. And Jesus, in his response to that, he said, "I know you, that ye have not the love of God in you." What type of love did they not have inside of them? Did they not have the agape love or the filial love? All right, so I'm going to get Sister Charmaine is done. If you are done.
And remember the viewing and listening audience, you all write your A or P or as well.
Yes. Yes, you all make sure put down your AOP. Do this for yourselves, your own personal testing of your own knowledge. So, question number 3, Matthew chapter 10, verse 37. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. What type of love is Jesus referring to here? Agape love or phileo love? He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he who loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. All right, moving forward, Revelation chapter 3 and verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Which type of love did Jesus have for these believers at this particular church? All right. Did he have? Now, this is one of the letters written to one of the 7 churches in the book of Revelation. And Jesus is speaking to these believers and he says, I have loved thee. What type of love does Jesus have for these believers at the church? He's not saying that these believers are worshiping Satan, right? He's not saying that. Make sure and say that. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet. So Jesus is going to correct these people. He's going to deal with these people who are of the synagogue of Satan. And he's going to let these believers at this particular church in Revelation chapter 3, verse 9, these people, he is going to show the love he has for them. What kind of love does he have for them? Is it an agape love or is it a phileo love? Sister Charmaine, I could go forward?
Yes, of course.
Beautiful. We go to Revelation chapter 3 and verse 19. Let's see what is written here. As many as I love, Jesus speaking, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. He's still speaking to the believers in the church. As many as I love. What type of love is this? Agape or phileo? Moving on. Number 6. Matthew 23, verse 6. And the love, he's speaking about the Pharisees, and they love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogue. What type of love did these people have over here for the uppermost rooms and feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues? Did they have the agape type of love, or did they have the phileo type of love in Matthew chapter 23 and verse 6? A or P? We move forward. John chapter 5 verse 20. For the Father loveth the Son, and showeth him all things that himself doeth, and he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. What type of love does the Father have for the Son? Is it an agape love, or is it a phileo type of love? I read again. For the Father loveth the Son, and showeth him all things that himself doeth, and he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. We move on to number 8. John chapter 16 and verse 27. For the Father himself loveth you, because ye have loved me, and have believed that I came out of God. You can answer both of these loves here. The Father himself loves you. What type of love does the Father have over here? You can add the next love here. Because ye have loved me. What type of love is this that they have for Jesus, for his Father to love them? What type? Is it an agape, or is it a phileo type of love? You all don't forget, put A or P to the questions over here. All right, so let's move on. Number 9, Luke chapter 11, verse 43. Woe unto you, Pharisees, For ye love the uppermost seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets. What type of love did the Pharisees have for the uppermost seats in the synagogues and the greetings in the markets? Was this type of love a phileo type of love or an agape type of love? What kind of love did the Pharisees have for the seats in the synagogues and greetings in the marketplace? A or P, agape or phileo? Number 10, Romans chapter 12 and verse 10. Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love, in honor, perfecting one another. What type of love is the Apostle Paul directing the saints at Rome to have for one another? This type of brotherly love, is it an agape type or is it a phileo type of love? A or P? We move forward. Number 11, Titus chapter 2 verse 4. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. What type of love should the young women have for their husbands and for their children? Is it an agape type of love or is it a phileo type of love? A or P? We'll do number 12 and we will not go on to 13 immediately. We'll pause at 13 for a bit. Pause a little bit there. All right. So let's go to number 12. Titus chapter 3 and verse 4. But after that, the kindness and the love of God, our Savior, toward God our Savior toward man appeared. But after that, the kindness and love of God, our Savior toward a man appeared. Basically talking about Jesus in short, and saying that that God's goodness, His love was shown in Jesus Christ. In short, I'm just giving you that summarized bit of context, right? That they ought to be operating, the believers ought to be operating in the same manner. So verses, I'm giving the verses so anybody can always go and check the verses of your own accord. So it's not just me just simply talking for talking's sake. So what kind of love of God is this? Is this an agape type of love, or is this a phileo type of love? Yeah. All right. So as I said, we pause on question 13 for the time being. Sister Charmaine, how are you feeling?
Yeah, normal.
Very good. Very good.
Good.
Very good. All right, so I am looking forward, and I hope for those who have joined us in this little question for the time being, that you would have answered your questions, and hopefully some persons could let us know how many you got correct or otherwise. All right, so Sister Charmaine, I think it's good enough time for us to get your answers. So I'll use my bluing pen, and as you give your answers, I will write your answers. I will write your answers here, so I could have something to correlate. All right. So let me see if I can just get one of these books here for you. All right. So for the first one, we pull back up the first one here. Cheers. So for the first one, Sister Charmaine, it says, "But woe unto you, Pharisees, for ye tithe mint and rue and all manner of good, and pass over judgment and the love of God." What type of love was that, Sister Charmaine? A or P?
P.
P.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. How did you, if you mind me asking, how did you end up writing P?
Okay, because I saw it as Jesus was talking about the type of love the Pharisees demonstrated. But woe unto you, Pharisees, for you tithe mint and rue and all manner of herbs and pass over judgment and the love of God. So I saw it in the light of what love they were demonstrating. They weren't demonstrating the love of God there, because the passage say they pass over judgment and the love of God. these ought to have these ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. So
Okay. All right, very interesting. Do you want the answer now, or you want to prefer for us to go through and then you get the answers after?
whatever, however you want to think it, it's
Okay.
okay with
Oh,
me.
all right, no problem. Well, as we are here,
You
I'll
could
give
do
you
it
I'll
now,
give you one
yeah.
second. All right, so the answer is A, agape. All right.
Okay.
All right, so we move on to John chapter 5, verse 42. But I know you.
Okay, but why the explanation for A?
Oh, I'll get to that afterwards, right? But I'll say for the simplest way for the time being, the simplest, because that's actually in the text. The word that is used there in Greek is agape. You with me so far?
Okay, so you went to actually the Greek
Yeah,
to show what type of love it is, and the text
yes,
referring to here.
Yes, for all the verses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, no problem.
Okay, so John chapter 5, verse 42. I know you that ye have not the love of God. This is Jesus speaking here, and he's telling his audience that he knows they do not have the love of God. What type of God, love does God have here? What did you put for this? A or P?
A.
A. Okay. So that is agape, and that is in the text. Agape is in the text. So you will have that one correct. You're with me so far?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So we're going on to the third one, Matthew chapter 10, verse 37. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Which love is these now? Is there agape or phileo?
Well, I have P.
You have P, phileo?
Yeah.
All right. P is in the text, so that's correct. Phileo is in Matthew chapter 10, verse 37. So we move on to Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. What kind of love is Jesus? Is agape love, right?
I have A.
Correct. Agape love. All right, good. So we move now to Revelation chapter 3, verse 19. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. What type of love does Jesus have here? Is it agape? A. 19 is P, phileo. This is the type of love that Jesus has. He has a phileo type of love. All right, we move on to Matthew 23 and verse 6. And love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogue. What type of love did the Pharisees and they have here? Agape or phileo?
I have P.
You have P, phileo, and that is correct. Phileo. So we move on to John chapter 5, verse 20. For the Father loveth the Son. What type of love does the Father have for the Son? Agape love or phileo type of love?
Well, for that I wanted to put both, but I said, look, I have to choose one, so I put E.
A. Why do you feel confident with the E over the P?
Because the love of God to me, agape love is the overarching love, and to me, every love comes out from that. Yes, the agape love.
Right. Because we're working with the definition at the
end. Well, if we working with the definition, and you see, that's what I was thinking. If we working with the definition in this particular text, well, then P may be more appropriate.
I'm confused. If we working with the definition, it talks about the love of the Father for the Son. What kind of love the Father has?
So as I told you, I say the Father love is the agape love, but because the filial love talk about love of your children and your brethren and so on. So you know, or is filial love is more brotherly love.
Right. So you have the
Okay,
father and the
right.
son.
Well, no, well, then it's literally E. Yeah.
We're
Well,
going with the definition, right?
yeah, E.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So the text actually has. I just asked for that for the understanding, but the text actually has phileo, right? That should be interesting for our conversation coming up very soon. All right. So number 8, John chapter 16 and verse 27. For the Father himself loveth you. What type of love the Father would have for us? Because ye have loved me. What type of love?
E. I have
With,
E.
with E, right? Because that goes with the definition. All right, that is Matthew chapter 16, verse 27. You have A, the text has P for phileo. All right, so we're moving
The
on to,
text has P.
yeah, phileo. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Luke chapter 11, verse 43. Woe unto you, Pharisees, for ye love the uppermost seats in the synagogues and greetings in the market. What type of love the Pharisees have here? Agape love or phileo love?
P.
Phileo love, right? All right, so the text has A, agape. Anything seeming strange, Sister Sharon? I'm going to think something seeming strange. Romans, Romans, so good at the conversation, don't worry. We'll have the conversation. Romans chapter 12 and verse 10. Be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love. What type of love is this? Agape or phileo?
I have P.
P, phileo, and the text has phileo. So correct. Titus chapter 2, verse 4. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. What type of love do they have here? Phileo type or agape type?
I have P.
P, phileo. The text has phileos. You are correct. All right. So I'll just put this one here, this one there. All right. So Titus 3 and verse 4. But after that, the kindness and love of God, our Savior, toward man appeared. What type of love God has here? Does God have an agape love, or is God a phileo type of love?
I have E.
You have A, agape. All right, so God here, the text has phileo, P, as phileo. All right, appreciate it. All right, so we covered quite a bit, and I would ask listeners who are watching, those who hopefully did join us in our little question and answer segment. Share your responses. Did you get anything right? Did you get some things wrong? Don't feel embarrassed at anyone. It's learning, as human beings we learn. Hopefully everybody doesn't want to learn, so Mr. Shaman,
Yeah.
how was the question? Excuse us.
Yeah, you have water.
Yeah. How was it? Did you find some things a bit surprising in terms of
Yes, 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 because some things that where I thought, well, it would have been agape was filio, and where I thought was filio was agape. So I suspect that it's only going back to the Greek. One could have really determined whether it was agape or filio.
Mhm, mhm. What I do encourage everyone to do as we having this conversation, please go to the text. This video will be up. I'm not going to take it down. So at any time, people could stop the video, you could pause the video, and you could go and check in your Greek
Okay.
translations,
Mm-hmm.
and you will see. Go ahead, Sister
Yeah.
Shami.
No,
Go ahead.
Sister Lal says she's not feeling well. So we trust that you feel better, Sister Lal. So she left.
Oh, okay, okay. I hope you
Mhm.
feel better, Sister Lad. Thanks for being on part. We pray God help and strength be upon you. So now we saw several words that were several things that were correct. So we just pull up the text and we see some of the things that you got correct, Sister Shaman. So let's pull up that quickly and see some of the things that you got correct. Let's look at some of the things that need some further dialogue. So for this particular text here, you got that one correct because the love of God here. No, you got this one incorrect. I think this one was a surprise to me. This one you had phileo, and this one actually has agape over here. But this one you got correct, which spoke about the love of God. And this love here, the Greek word for it is agape, right? So this one was correct. This word as well, you got this one correct in Matthew, as it spoke about he that loveth father or mother. This was phileo. Am I correct with your notes there?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right. And then we have over here, you have Revelation chapter 3 and verse 9, which spoke about the love and to know that I have loved you. The last few words in the text. Jesus speaking, he says that the saints would know and others would know that he had loved them. This is agape in the text. But over here now, when we come to Revelation chapter 3 and verse 19, it says, as many as I love. And this love here is phileo. How does it square with the definition that we looked at in regards to what has been said is God's love. And Jesus, ultimately, Jesus is God. This is not Jesus being on earth. This is actually Jesus in heaven. All right, he's speaking to the churches and so on. And he says to the church, as many as I love. This is Jesus' love here. However, this is a phileo word in the Greek. Another one over here that is Sister Shami, you will have to just help me here. With this one here, Matthew 23 and verse 6. Which love did just remind me which love you had for verse the number 6 question?
P. P.
P for phileo, right? Right. So you got this one correct. And this one talks about the Jewish leaders, the Pharisees, and the loving the uppermost seats. However, I don't know if you noticed, I don't know if anybody noticed, that this was pretty much repeated later in question number 9. All right, so you see, talk about the uppermost rooms in peace and so on. But in
Mhm.
question number 9, what would the question number 9 have? Question number 9 is the same scenario. Now it's taken from the writer Luke. Last one we looked at was Matthew. Question number 6 is Matthew 23 verse 6. But when we go to question number 9, it's Luke chapter 11 verse 43. The same scenario presents itself. Now watch it. It says, woe unto you Pharisees, for ye love the uppermost seats in the synagogue. Now, your word for this is Shama. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Your word for over here was phileo. Am I correct?
Yeah.
The word over here is actually agape. So how could the Pharisees have a selfless, godly type of love for the uppermost seats and so on? The only how that could occur is because the word agape and the word phileo, the two of them just has the shocking, this might be for some of it just has the very simple meaning of love. It doesn't have any special thing. This is going to be surprising to quite a number of people because we have accepted what we have heard for years. Um, But all in all, be it agape or be it philia, doesn't really matter based on the text. At the end of the day, just means love. You have a great passion, you have a great desire, great interest, or what have you, or whatever you're interested in. And whether the word phileo is used or the word agape is used, either one, at the end of the day, um, it's the same love. So here we get a great example of seeing the same scenario played out with Jesus speaking about the Pharisees or to the Pharisees. It says, woe to them, woe to the Pharisees and they, because they phileo the uppermost place, the seats and greetings in the marketplace. When Matthew writes his gospel, and then when Luke writes it, he writes, you agape the uppermost seats and so on. Just sorry to burst some people's bubble, but it's just love at the end of the day. It doesn't really, there isn't no, there isn't any, I know it's going to be uncomfortable, but there isn't any special thing with agape because Jesus himself, in the text that we read with Revelation chapter 3, we saw that Jesus had phileo love for the believers there. He had phileo love. The Father himself has phileo love for his Son, as well as having agape love, because at the end of the day, it's just love. Sister Charmaine, let me give you some space
Yeah,
to speak.
I was just wondering if it is love, yes, love, yes. As I say, to me, the agape one, is over surpassing all. But is it that with different folks, then the love will be demonstrated in a different manner? For instance, you love your wife, you love your husband, but you will demonstrate it, that love, in a particular manner. Yeah, you will be more intimate, you will be more, you know what I'm speaking about. But you wouldn't demonstrate that type of passion then for your brother. So I am wondering if it's, yes, is love, love is love, but is it demonstrated to different folks? I'm just wondering.
A great question. I believe once persons have they say they love somebody in comparison to, let's say, your husband and wife, um, that compared to, let's say, a neighbor or a friend, demonstration could be different, but the use of the word love, like when we speak and we say we love somebody, the word doesn't change. It's the same love that we use when communication. If I say to my friend, Bridget, I love you, Bridget. I love you as my soul, yeah. The actions I would do for that friend would not be on the same level I would show for my wife. But the same word, I'm using the same word. I'm still using the same word, love, at the end of the day. So the actions, correctly as you say, the actions will be different, but the word doesn't change. The meaning of the word, I guess, would reflect how far I carry out this love. When I say I love this person, either person, and, and it just hammers in on the whole thing that how you demonstrate it. Just hammers in on that point. But at the end of the day, the word love is still being used. And when you look at the text now, we see the word phileo being used, like the example we just saw with the Pharisees. They have phileo type of love for the uppermost seats. And then we see they have agape love for the same seats, just a different writer writing. So it doesn't matter at the end of the day whether, again, we still come back to that same baseline. A fantastic question. We still come back to the same baseline of whether this word is used or that word is used, either word being used, it still is recognized as love at the end of the day. So it really
Mm.
doesn't change anything. And
Right.
what would for the here's the whole thing. For the definition of agape to be true, then the meaning must be limited only within its definition. Meaning that the only how you could use the word agape is in the context of God's love. Anytime God is the love, God is the only person to give that type of love. And he must give that love at all times, be it to his son, Jesus, God the Father, just to say this in case anybody listening, whatever. God the Father must always and only give agape type of love to his son. Jesus himself must always and only give agape type of love. And
Mm.
in no way can the Pharisees, who, even based on the context of the passage, they could never be giving agape type of love, because at the end of the day, the definition of the word agape is a selfless, godly love. So that destroys the human meaning. And I think often what we have is that human beings meet a word, and because we in that kind of preaching zone and what we preach in a certain way that we create a meaning for a word that's just not there. The meaning that particular we could just say it's love full stop. Okay. And we have different words we use in English. For example, we have the word um large, we have the word big, enormous, huge. All these words spelled differently, but they carry in the most simplistic way, the same meaning. Yes, one may have a greater weight, enormous to big, but then if you talk, depending on who you talk with, somebody might watch a building and say, "Wow, that's an enormous building," and another person says, "That's a big building." So at the end of the day, you have different words in languages being used, and at the end of the day, they carry in essence the same meaning, even though they spelled differently, pronounced differently. Some have one syllable, so some have two or three syllables. Enormous, three syllables. Big, huge, one syllable each. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to learn that at the end of the day, be it agape or phileo, love, love.
Mm.
So I think it'll be quite interesting. Anything you want to ask or
Yeah.
add? Go ahead.
So the example that you used there with big, enormous, huge, all meaning the same thing. So if you take big, they will give you all these other words that you call there as they will call them, they are similar words, synonyms they will call them, right? So is it that you are saying then if they use filio, agape, the filio will be like a synonym?
Yes, yes. I think phileo
Mm.
agape will be pretty much like a synonym. It's just a different word you could use because
Mm.
it's spelled differently. It has a different pronunciation. Um, phileo, agape, two of them have three syllables, so you're good there. But yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. And I will even share this. In treating with the translation of the Bible, which is not actually it's not strange to languages on the whole. You will see that there are different words used at different times throughout the scriptures that have pretty much the same meaning. For example, let me see off the top of my head. The Bible has the word put away, that a man, a Jewish man especially, has the ability within the old covenant to put away his wife. You have two different words there. Well, two words as in put and away. but then the text also uses the word divorce, right? So you have put away, and then you have divorce. Those words, same meaning, even though you're using two different words, same meaning. And that is a very regular thing in the Bible where you may have words used in different ways. And as a writer, when you're writing, one of the things we as authors have to be mindful of is uh, trying to get the proper word in my mind. But let me just explain it in this way. You don't want people to become fed up of you using the same word over and over, right? So you use a different word that carries the same meaning. So you don't want to be repeating the same word over. And I'll tell you, for me, it's an incredibly big challenge because you're writing as a writer, and this word could come back in your mind, come back in your mind. So you try to create some type of a nuance to your writing, or you try to make your writing interesting. So you don't want to be repeating the same thing over and over. So you use a different word that carries the same meaning, but spelled differently, pronounced differently, but it gives you a bit of a different feel. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anything else,
Yeah.
Sister Jamie?
No, 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 no. I was just wondering in defense of, whoever has taught the different types of love. I unaware if it is they actually said that these different Greek words came out from the Bible, or if it wait, I don't know where it originated from then, in terms of their preaching. I've never heard anybody from church, but I mean, I know, growing up, everything, they talk about the agape, more the agape and the filio, and so the meanings, I don't know if it came from a secular point of view, the eros, the storage,
Storge.
storge, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it came from that setting or
Mm,
not, and it was just incorporated to describe how you demonstrate your love. So,
That's a beautiful point. I like that. It may be that persons derived it from there and they brought it into the biblical narrative. It could be. It could be. I wouldn't fight that at all. I wouldn't fight that. And I think it creates a great opportunity for those who have preached those things, that it's the agape, is the selfless type of love and all that kind of stuff. To check the text and see if the text really says what we think it says, right?
mm,
So let's visit the list one more time, and then we'll probably go to a key passage we haven't checked as yet. Let me just go back to question 7, because I think we did 6, we didn't do 7, and we jumped to question 9. So we just look quickly at 7. 7 says, "For the Father loveth the Son, and showeth him all things that himself doeth, and he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel." So the Father loving the Son, and the Greek word for the Father loving the Son is actually phileo, phileo. Now, the answer that you had given, Sister Shamli, was agape, and you are following the definition that was given, that has been given to us for years. So it's understandable for the definition that you will, because here you have the Father loving the Son. It's very simple to see. If the Father's love is an agape type of love, then if the Father loving the Son, this must be agape. But the text says no. The text actually says phileo. So that all these things create the teaching, the learning opportunity. 8 now says, "For the Father himself loveth you." And this is the Father loving the people. This is Jesus speaking to his crowd. He said, "The Father love the people." So what type of love this is? This actually is a phileo type of love that God has for his people. Phileo, not agape. Very interesting. We already touched on on 9. Romans talk about the kindly affection one to another with brotherly love, and this one, this brotherly love was phileo. This is something that Sister Charmaine, you got correct, right? Um, 11 Titus, that they may teach the women to be sober to love their husbands. And this is another one you got correct. This one is phileo. Titus 3:4, the type of love, kindness, and love of God is the love of God here is actually phileo, love of God. This is interesting. If you pay attention to this, it's the love of God. And this love is actually the phileo type of love. So, Sister Charmaine, I think we go into the bonus round, the final question on the board. So, um, let me just kind of like set up some things behind the scenes here quickly, and we're going to John. John has three love. So you can decide, folks, which love you believe fits this particular text over here. You could list it how you want. Um, all three phileo, all three uh, agape, some phileo, some agape, anything you want. You could fix it up as you feel comfortable. All right. So let's see if we could get this ball rolling. So John over here, 21 and verse 15. So when they had dined, Jesus saith to Peter, to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs. What kind of love is being mentioned here? Agape or philia? He saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. What type of love is mentioned here? The second time. All right, verse 17. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Jesus saith unto him, Feed my sheep. Sister Charmaine, that one was an interesting one.
Hmm.
Which love you think is being presented there? Agape or the phileo?
Both.
All right. So you want to add something more to the both?
No, well, if we go in with the definition,
Right. You want me to pull
and
it up?
well, the filio is the brotherly type of love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, the text, I mean, yeah. The agape love, well, according to the definition, is the selfless, godly kind of love, right? And Jesus, well, I don't know if Jesus felt like Peter wasn't demonstrating that agape type of love. Why he asked him 3 times, he wanted to make sure that he loved him, because the question actually frustrated Peter, somewhat. And I could understand why he said, Lord, you know us all things. So I will say the agape love, but from the first one probably is filio,
Okay.
but yeah. So
All right. Okay. No
I
problem. No problem.
don't
I'll take that. I'll take that. So actually, what the Greek shows us is that the first time Jesus spoke, what he said was agape. The second time when he asked the question, so let me see, make sure I I'll looking at the Greek here. So the first time, um, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? It was the agape. And he said, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I phileo thee. And the second time Jesus asked, he said, uh, if he love him, he said agape. The Lord said agape again. And Simon repeated, um, he said phileo. So it was agape from Jesus, phileo response from Peter. Agape from Jesus, phileo from Peter. And then the Lord now says, Simon, listen, let me make sure I have Simon, son of Jonas, phileo. The third time, Jesus said, phileo me more than these, or what have you. And Simon said, yes, you know all things. You know I love you. Now, what preachers have done, I don't know if you have had this experience, Sister Shannon, is that several preachers have said is that the Lord tried to get Peter to come up to an agape love by asking Peter, do you love me with a selfless type of love? This is what several preachers have done. Probably not all, most likely not all, but several preachers have done this. Peter, do you agape me? Do you love me with a selfless love? The first time. Peter's response was, I brotherly love you. But Jesus asked him again, do you selflessly love me? Peter, I brotherly love you. And then the Lord dropped the level. He dropped the stand. Simon, do you brotherly love me? Lord, I brotherly love you. So that is what has been preached. Have you ever heard that, Sister Charmaine?
Not really, no.
Okay. Beautiful. Now, that's good. The interesting thing is that when you read the text shows that the Lord asked Peter 3 times if he loved him. Just says 3. And the way some preachers have created this particular narrative, and this is not to attack preachers who have done it. I think a lot of people have done it just because they were taught it and that's what they know. They make it look like Jesus asked Peter about 2 different types of love and then hit him a lower level love to come down to Peter's level. And those are the things that comes up with the whole preaching side. Because when you get into preaching and things, sometimes you say things to kind of like, justify the definition at the end of the day of agape being a selfless, godly type of love, and the phileo being a brotherly type of love, and all that kind of stuff. All right, so when you're preaching, you just have to try to justify those ideas.
Yeah.
So when you read the text, though, the text is actually telling us that Jesus asked him 3 times, if you love me. And if we stick with just what the text is saying, I think we're safer than the whole agape versus phileo. It's too much things that has problems. Yeah? And the word love is sufficient. The word love is sufficient to be able to say, because I don't have to tell my wife, I agape love you. I don't have to tell God, I agape love you. For God to know if I love him or if I'm not being genuine. So I could just say, I love you. And that's enough.
Yeah.
You understand? And my actions and so on is really going to take center stage there. So that's what I wanted to say. I noticed we didn't have anybody who gave any. I guess nobody took the test with us. I was looking forward to see if anybody would have put in their little thoughts or what they got wrong and all that. I guess not. All right, Sister Charmaine, so you have heard, what are your thoughts?
Yes, well, this was interesting. It really proves some how, Filio and agape were used interchangeably, and in one text, the both of them were used. It, to me, it just proves that love is love, and we don't have to segment it, so to speak. It's just that it's demonstrated to different people, of course, in different ways, and particularly with a husband and wife, relationship. You would not be intimate with all your friends, but you will be intimate with your husband or wife. So, that's basically what I learned is same love.
Same love. Same
Same
love.
love. Yeah.
So I think that's it for this evening. I don't think we have anything else to
Mm,
add. We pray that what was shared was
yes.
intriguing, to say the least, and edifying. Because here on this group, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom discourse, our objective is to be a blessing to the body of Christ. For those who are now coming into the faith, you are going to hear a lot of things, a lot of interesting things, and not because you might meet a minister who have taught that particular idea means you must run away from the minister. The minister is deceptive and he or she is evil. We have all been taught things, we have all grown up with different things, and it's good to cut people a little slack, extend a little grace and patience with one another. You know, we have all received certain things, and it's a growing opportunity. It's not an attack. Nothing is an attack. Just an opportunity to grow and to build. All right. So we just want to wish everyone a great night. Thanks for being with us,
Mhm.
and pray that you will continue to support our YouTube channel. Click on the notification to check when we have some new stuff, more information to be a blessing to you. Don't forget to check us out Wednesday, please, God, on Facebook, where we have our Bible study series going on. We are in the book of Genesis and we are continuing with that. Next week, please, God, we should have a new topic we could be getting into next week, please, God. All right, so I want to wish everyone a blessed night and thank
Yes.
our dear Sister
Mhm.
Charmaine for being a part of this. Sister Charmaine, I give you your
Yes.
closing
Well,
words.
I just want to wish everybody a blessed night, a blessed day tomorrow, please God. And I trust that, you all actually learned something today. Yeah, from this little topic that Brother Devon, demonstrated. He actually showed from his scripture verse that is love is, it's not a separation of the love. So that was quite interesting. So see you all next week, please God.